Prime Field.
UConn just went 31-0 at Madison Square Garden by 36. And the funniest part? The loudest statement might have been the minutes after the game was already over. Because Geno said it out loud, this team is different. Because he has more players he can trust to put on the court. So let's test that. Tonight we're rating the bench 1 through 10 based on what they did in the regular season finale against St. John, and then we're tiering them into 3 buckets: tournament ready, rotation risk, and DNP danger. And if you're a real UConn fan, you already know what this video is actually about. Who are Geno's first subs when it's a one-possession March game? Quick context, so we're grading this fairly. March 1st at MSG. UConn closes the regular season undefeated, 85-49, and it wasn't even that close. They shot 57% from the field, clamped defensively, and were up 15 after the first quarter. So yes, blowout rules apply. But blowouts are also where Geno tells the truth. He'll lie to his players, sure. But the rotation? The minutes? That's the real honesty. And the bench minutes in this one gave us a pretty sharp picture of who's trending up, and who's drifting into March invisibility. Alright, let's grade them. If we're talking pure stock up, it's Kaylee Heckle. No debate. She played 20 minutes. That's the loudest number on her stat line. In a game where the starters handled business early, Geno still let her run a real chunk of the second half. And she rewarded it. 9 points, 4 boards, 3 assists, a steal, and even a block. With 80% shooting on 4 for 5. This is the exact profile you trust in March. She doesn't need high usage, she doesn't hijack possessions, and she's making the right read without playing scared. Here's the comment war line, though. If you're Geno, is Heckel now the definitive first guard off the bench? Because after the Georgetown game, 11 points and 3 steals, and then this near-perfect follow-up at MSG, it's starting to feel less like hot stretch and more like earned role. My only reason it's a 9 and not a 10, we still haven't seen what Geno does with her when the margin is thin and the scouting report is brutal. But in terms of this game, tournament ready, full stop. Alli Zebel had the most dramatic swing in the entire bench unit across these final 2 games. Against Georgetown, 0 for 6. And if you watched that and panicked, I don't blame you, but at MSG against St. John's, she flipped the entire story in 14 minutes. Ziebell drops 13 points on 5 for 6 shooting, that's 83.3%, with 3 rebounds, an assist, a steal, and just 1 turnover. That's not just made some shots, that's rescued her March projection. Because when you're a bench wing on this roster, your job is simple. Punish teams for helping too hard. If you're open, you have to make them pay. Here's the debate I want in the comments. Can Geno trust Ziebell's shooting when it's a one-possession March game? Or is she still feast or famine? I'm giving her an 8 because this performance matters. It's not nice to have. It's exactly the type of bench-scoring burst that can erase a cold stretch from the starters. But Geno's trust is a fragile thing, especially when the misses stack. Tonight, though, she earned minutes. And I don't think that's optional anymore. Blanca Kenyonz is one of those players that Geno basically describes in a single sentence. He values people who compete really hard. And if you've watched her recently, you know that's her identity. The last 2 games, 6 steals combined. In this one at MSG, she played 19 minutes and came away with 5 points, 3 assists, and 2 steals. Now, let's be real. The shooting wasn't pretty. 33.3%. In the turnovers, 2 in this game. That's why it's a 7.5 and not higher. Because here's the question. Is she a defense-first lock, or is she a rotation risk when every possession is magnified? My take. Her defense is so disruptive that it changes the tempo. She's the kind of guard who makes opponents feel crowded, like the court shrinks. But the high turnover moments are exactly what get you stapled to the bench in March. So I'm putting her in tournament ready, barely. Because Geno's comments and her recent steals scream trust. But if you disagree, I promise you'll have a company in the replies. Jana El Alfy is the most confusing bench story heading into the postseason. In this game, she got 10 minutes. The box score is tiny, 2 points, 1 rebound, 1 assist. But she went 100% from the field. And zooming out to the final 2 games, she's been perfect shooting-wise. Plus, against Georgetown, she grabbed 5 boards. So here's the spicy part. Why aren't her minutes trending higher if the front court is going to need physical insurance in March? Because if you're thinking about matchups, Big East tournament, NCAA tournament, there are nights where you need an extra body that won't panic, won't foul spam, and won't waste a possession. El Alfy has been efficient, steady, and mistake-light, but the minutes say Geno still sees her as rotation risk, so she's a 6. Efficient, solid, but not fully trusted in the way the top 3 are. Kellis Fischer is tough to grade because the problem isn't what she did, it's what she didn't get the chance to do. She only played 5 minutes at MSG. In that time, 2 points, 2 rebounds, 2 assists, 0 turnovers, and 50% shooting. And that's actually productive. But when Geno has the entire second half to experiment and you still only see 5 minutes, that's the message. And it matches the narrative from the Georgetown game, where she flashed a spark, 4 points in 3 minutes, but the regular season finale pulled her right back down the depth chart. This is the March question. Is she simply too far down the guard pecking order to matter when the stakes rise? Right now, the minutes say yes. So it's a 4, and she lives in DNP danger unless injuries or foul trouble open the door. This one is harsh, but the numbers are harsher. Ayanna Patterson played 4 minutes and recorded zeros across the board. No points, no rebounds, no assists, no defensive stats. And over the last 2 blowouts, 5 total minutes. Still no statistical production. This is not about talent. It's about trust and availability. Fans have been asking, is it a nagging injury? Is it practice assertiveness? Is it just matchup-based? Whatever the reason is. Geno's rotation has basically answered the postseason question already. Right now, she's DNP danger. A 2 out of 10 for this game. Because if you're trying to win a Big East title and make a deep NCAA run, minutes that small tell you exactly where the staff stands. Caroline Ducharm did appear, and that matters for tracking the bench picture. But she only played 3 minutes. In those 3 minutes, 2 points and 1 turnover, shooting 50%. That's not enough runway to make a real impact, or to earn a real grade boost. So I'm going with a 3. It's basically a not part of the nightly plan rating based on usage. And finally, Mamml. She didn't record stats in the final 2 games, so there's no box score case to make here, no moment to point to. That lands her at a 1 for this breakdown, not as a statement about her future, but as a statement about the current rotation evidence. In this Geno Trust Factor world, no minutes, no stats means you're living in DNP danger. Alright, tier list time based on this game and the final regular season evidence. Tournament ready, Kaylee Heckle, Alli Zebel, Blanca Kenyonz. Rotation risk, Jana El Alfy. DNP danger, Kellis Fischer, Ayanna Patterson, Caroline Ducharm, Mamml. And here's the big picture. Overall, the bench gets a 7.2 from 10 for this game, because the top end was awesome. Heckel and Ziebell gave you real production, and Kenyonz gave you that pressure defense identity Geno loves. But the bottom end, the minutes drop off is real, and it's telling us the rotation trim is already happening. Now it's your turn. If you're Geno, who are your first 3 subs in the Big East championship game? And be honest, does Blanca Kenyonz's defense make her a lock no matter what her shooting looks like? Also, do you think this is the deepest UConn bench since that 2014-2017 streak era? Or is it just a top-heavy group with a couple of trusted specialists? Drop your tier list in the comments. I want disagreements. I want chaos. And next video, we're taking this one step further. What happens when the game is tight? What does the Geno Trust Factor look like when the bench minutes aren't blowout minutes? They're survival minutes? Make sure you're subscribed to Prime Field, because March doesn't care about reputations. It only cares who Geno actually trusts.
Prime Field!